Yo, what's going on, man? Today is December the 27th. December the 27th. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Top of the morning to everyone out there that's watching and tuning in today. We got a bunch of games on the board for today. Hopefully we can try to cash them. Let's get right into it for today. Yesterday, one official play for me. Gave it out on the show. With Sacramento, first half -3. It was a winner, even though they found a way to lose the game anyway and not cover the spread. A lot of the things on the short list did not cash. Well, I think it was about mixed on the short list yesterday. See what we can do today, man. Let's jump into it and go through a couple of comments. Wolfgang says, need a winner today, man. Shaking my head. Bad couple of days now. Can't believe the Hornets, my gosh. Yeah, no, I'm not going to comment on the Hornets, man, because I was right there with you with the Hornets yesterday. Didn't play them, though, but was right there with you. Desmond Bain over 2.5 threes. What up, Justin? What up, GLB Bets? Marquise in here as always. G. Hurst says, my goodness, Chicago. He says, I don't believe that. The bad beat that he had with them getting 6.5 and winning the game. They gave up 88 points in the second half yesterday. The Chicago Bulls did. 88 points. I was going back through the game log. Like, how you give up 50 in a quarter? Just count on the Chicago Bulls to do it for you. Let's see. What up, Mark? What up, Jose? Reem says, good morning, everyone. Let's cash today. Went green yesterday. Grizzlies first quarter. Morant, 6+ assists. Yeah, that everything we talked about or that was mentioned in the chat with the Memphis Grizzlies was a winner. That first quarter team total I had written down. First half won, full game won. I scored an NBA season high 155 points yesterday. It's crazy. What's up, Charles? Appreciate you for tapping in. Andrew says, whoa. Sweaty Cade assists and Beasley points. Beasley points was cash. LJ says, what up, Chris? Let's run it back with Memphis first quarter. Rockets first half. Cavs -2.5. Got some looks that he likes. We'll talk about them. What up, Mitchell? Appreciate you for tapping in. Says top of the morning. What up, Peasy? The Malik Beasley 3.5 for threes was man. I don't know if I actually watched the whole game last night. Malik Beasley was on a heater last night. I'm talking about Steph Curry Jr. last night. 3 after 3 after 3 in the fourth quarter to even bring them back in the game last night. Like he hit, I think it was with 3.5. I think he hit 4 threes in the fourth quarter alone. So love to see that. Burns says, go against the grain, Chris. Let's get this money. We did it yesterday. Hopefully, we can find another couple spots to do it again today. Jason says, morning, Chris. Jabari and Nicola yesterday were terrible for me. Yeah, they were terrible, man. I had a small bet on them. Personal play, like super small, not even enough to give out. But yeah, of course, when I bet on Jabari, you don't know how to play basketball again. Kings are absolutely trash. They are bad. What up, Tariq? Merrill on here says, let's get paid. Beasley was easy last night. What up, Nando? Says that shot by Ivy last night was lucky. Was it a good shot? It was luck for sure. He jumped into him. But, I mean, it don't matter. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I always say that. Let's jump into it for today, man. First up, we got jaXon, as we always do. Promo code for jaXon is in the description of the video. This morning when I woke up, I was interested to know how jaXon felt about the Knicks and the Magic total. One of the first games on the board. So I'll give you guys the breakdown. If you're interested in checking out jaXon, like I said, use the promo code in the description of the video. We'll get you 50% off whatever tier that you sign up for. Key stats and trends. Combined average scores. The Knicks are averaging 117.3 points per game, while the Magic are averaging 106.7. Together, they combine to average 224, which is significantly higher than the 213.5. Defensively, the Knicks allow 110.1 points per game. The Magic allow 103 for a combination of 213 points per game. Recent matchup in the last matchup, December 15th, the Knicks won 100-91 with a total of 191 points, going under the 213.5 points. Over the last 10 head-to-head matchups, the total has gone under in 7 games, showing a trend towards a lower scoring contest. Team trends: the Knicks have hit the over 17 of their 30 games this season, 56.7%. The Magic have hit the under 18 of their 32 games, 56%. Injuries: the Magic will be missing key players. We know no Paolo, no Franz, no Mo, which could limit their offensive output. The Knicks will be without Mitchell Robinson, but their core offensive players, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns, are healthy and in good form. Given the trends in the current line, the under 213 looks like a strong play. The Magic's injuries and their slow-paced, defensive-oriented style, ranked first in points allowed per game, suggests this could be a lower-scoring game. Additionally, the Knicks' recent head-to-head dominance and defensive efficiency further support the under. So under 213 is what jaXon likes. I think I would agree. I think the Magic are going to definitely struggle to score the basketball. Probably play slow, try to beat the Knicks up. But the Knicks are a super physical team. If the Knicks come in here and want to play defense, especially with the Magic on the second leg of a back-to-back, I think it's an under-type game. So that's the recommendation for jaXon today. jaXon likes under in this first game on the board. So let's jump into it. First game. So we got injury report. Just double check it. I think Cam Payne is off, even though he got hurt in that last game on Christmas Day. And then it's just no Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks. On the Orlando side, of course, no Paolo, no Franz. Mo is done for the season, unfortunately. And Gary Harris didn't play yesterday with the hamstring injury. We'll see if he plays today. Probably be listed as questionable. So we got a Knicks team. They've beaten Orlando twice already in the head-to-head matchups. They won by 15. They won by 9. Once in Orlando, the first one in New York, that was the Cup game, and then they beat them in Orlando as well without Paolo and without Franz. It's about 2 weeks ago. Knicks have actually covered the last 3 spreads against the Orlando Magic. And then situationally, you got the Knicks coming off the big Christmas Day game, first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game in DC against the Wizards tomorrow. The reeling DC Wizards, the Washington Wizards. Winners of 5 straight are the New York Knicks, and they've covered 4 of their last 5 spreads. Guess which one they didn't cover? The one I bet on them on Christmas Day. Boy, I hate the Knicks. Let's see, Orlando, second leg of a back-to-back, 6 straight home game for them. So no travel at all for the Orlando Magic. I don't really have too strong of an opinion on the game. I will say Orlando, they are 3-1 to the under in revenge games this season. The Knicks 5-2 straight up. 3-2 against the spread when they facing a team that they've beaten already. I think this game is going to be pretty simple. I think if the Knicks, the spread is strong, is bigger than the last one. The Knicks have covered both by 15-9. I think if the Knicks want to come in here and beat up on Orlando, they can. Orlando's a really feisty team. We know that they're not going to lay down for anybody. But the Knicks they do have what it takes. They're one of the teams that matches up really well with this with this team that is missing such key players. So it would be Knicks in this spot. I think laying the 6.5 number didn't really move a lot. I do think it's the right side. I would also be looking towards an Orlando team total potentially to go under, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna play the game or not. Let's see what you guys are thinking about it. I don't want to take too long on this game because I know it's not a game that I'm probably gonna be involved in. Let's see. 3-1. Parky says Chiefs Porzingis under for Christmas. Heat money line last night. Did lose Nuggets on Christmas Day. All right. Nando says, Chris, he says, I got to shout out jaXon. He must uses it. I'm glad you like it. Brian says he's on the Knicks -6.5 and the Rockets first half money line. Knicks spot here, but it seems too obvious, G. Hurd says. Sometimes those are the ones that cash. What up, Helms? Appreciate you for tapping in. Feel like I ain't seen Helms in a minute. What up, Helms? Cat over his 39 points, rebounds, and assists for Merrill. Mark says he bet the under this morning at 213. I like under too. I do think Orlando is going to struggle to score the basketball, but they're feisty enough that they're going to play defense to slow the Knicks down as well. Mikal Bridges riding with him again, over 16.5 points. Been a wagon. Merrill says Cat needs to chill on the fouls. He does. Cat will go out there, absolutely act like he got a -5 basketball IQ. I agree with that. OG over his 5.5 rebounds and assists. Been a wagon, Merrill says. Jason says he's taking that Orlando team total under. What up, Miranda? Good morning to you. She says, go cash for me yesterday on the double-double, but won't play it today. Knicks are a better rebounding team, but I don't know. Wemby had, 37 rebounds, it felt like the other day. Cat gonna get you a couple dumb fouls a game. Brian says Knicks -6.5, but what's Orlando back-to-back record? Do we know? Yes, I was looking into Orlando's back-to-back record last night. I don't think it was anything that was significant to stand out, which is why I didn't put it in my notes. I want to say something like 2-2 or something like that. I mean, they are due to regress a little bit, man. You can't play as good as they've been playing for that long. Yeah, they're especially when you start to lose key pieces. The Magic are 3-2 straight up, 2-3 against the spread. Losing by an average of 4 points. They lost their first two against the Grizzlies and the Thunder. They beat the Pacers on the second leg of a back-to-back. Beat my Lakers. I'll never forget that. Franz hit the game winner, top of the key. And then they beat the 76ers, but didn't cover the spread. Lost that game by 4. None of those games, of course, came, without all their players being there, though. So that's that. Let's see. Orlando will be on tired legs. I do agree with Otis on this one. Let's keep it moving on to the next game. I didn't even look into player props for that game. Not a game I'm super interested in betting, but it'd be Knicks, I think, in that spot for me if I had to bet it, and I would look towards the under. Next game up, Spurs and the Nets. This game actually got away from me a little bit, if I'm being honest with you guys. I wanted to take San Antonio in this spot. I capped the game as soon as I finished Cal's show yesterday, and I do think it sets up for an under spot. And I also think San Antonio could cover this spread as well. The number opened at 6, and I didn't get the best of the number. It was already at 7. Then I saw some 7.5 pop up. So I was like, I'm gonna just go to sleep, see if some money comes in on the Nets. Didn't want to force it with San Antonio, even though I think they are the better side. So let's jump into this one. We got, first up, we'll go injury report. San Antonio has a clean injury report. Nobody is listed. Brooklyn, of course, second leg of a back-to-back with travel, road home back-to-back. Ben Simmons is listed as questionable, may or may not play, depending on, according to Coach Fernandez. He hasn't played a back-to-back all season, but apparently he could potentially play in this one. We'll see how it goes. Dorian Finney-Smith also missed that game yesterday against the Bucks. He's listed as questionable for today. And Coach Fernandez said in the post-game interview that he just kind of they didn't want to rush anything. He says he wanted Dorian Finney-Smith to be a 200% before he plays, and they'll just reassess him today to see if he's going to play. So we got 2 key injuries there. Of course, no Cam Thomas, Bogdanovich, Trent Watford, Zaire Williams. Pretty sure all those guys will remain out, but the Brooklyn Nets on the second leg of a back-to-back, so you kind of got to wait for the injury report. Head-to-head, San Antonio back-to-back losses after beating the Portland Trailblazers for the San Antonio, and they've covered 4 straight games. Have the Spurs 3 straight game, 3rd straight road game for them. My notes are crazy. 3rd straight road game for the San Antonio Spurs. On the Brooklyn side, they are second leg of a road home back-to-back. Like I mentioned, They were 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games before last night. So now you can say that they were at 3-7 straight up and 4-6 against the number. They'd actually already failed to cover 4 of their last 5 games. I just kind of feel like, when I was looking at the game, the only way I'm looking to play is San Antonio because one, they're healthy. 2, not that the Brooklyn Nets are going to ever give up, and this is a big number for San Antonio to be laying on the road. But San Antonio is 3-1 against the spread when their favorites of 2.5 to 7 points so far this season. So they have covered some of these bigger numbers. I also looked at looking at a few trends, looking at a few systems. Unrested home dogs who previously won as a road dog, and then they're facing a rested opponent, only cover about 45% of the Gimme the Dog database. So it's a 55% trend says that San Antonio wins the game. I wouldn't be too afraid of the big number. I think San Antonio could win the game by double digits. When I was looking into it deeper, as matching the 2 teams up on the floor to see where an advantage was, the advantage really comes from the 3-point shot. The 3-point shot for Brooklyn hasn't been falling lately. They're 26th in 3-point percentage the last 5 games. And the Brooklyn Nets, San Antonio, their 3-point defense can be a little shaky, but I just feel like they got a major advantage in this game. They also don't have any travel. We got to remember, on Christmas Day, they was in New York at the Garden. They're right up the street in Brooklyn now. So I think it's a lot of things that sets up well for the San Antonio Spurs in this spot. 7 is a big number, but I think that they are the right side. I also think, looking at Brooklyn, that if they do even attempt to attack the rim. San Antonio got Victor down there. They protect the rim really, really well. So that was something that I put in my notes as well, is that, Brooklyn isn't shooting as many threes as of late. They did get hot yesterday against the Bucks, but they're not shooting as many threes of late. Trying to get a little more downhill without Dennis Schroeder and without without Cam Thomas. But you really just need San Antonio to guard the three-point line, in my opinion. They win this game by double digits, is what I would think. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Helm says over 213. Spurs here for she. G Hurd says Spurs. Spurs got that juice after the Christmas Day game. M says, even though they lost, they played good. They played really good. Took my money. Live bet Spurs. I ain't want to lay 7. Brian says, and I'm right there with you. Couldn't lay the 7. Could not lay the 7 with the Spurs at all. But I do think that they are the right side, man. I do think they're the right side, if I'm being honest with you guys. As far as player props, nothing that really stood out to me. Let me just double check it. I know what had been cashing. My homeboy actually sent me this. Shout out to my guy, Sar. He sent me what's the kid name? Champagny. Champagny had been cooking. Of course, he had been cooking. I don't know if people have been paying attention to him, but especially if this game turns into any kind of a blowout. See if I can find him real quick. Oh, they don't even got his lines out right now. Because he's coming off the bench. Champagny, let's look for a Champagny when you get a chance. Go through and look at his. Chris Paul assists. Should be able to get there. Let's go Outlier real quick. Referral code in the description. Get you 7 day free trial if you're interested. So Chris Paul, 7.5 assists, -125 right now. I am predicting this to probably go up to 8.5. You can see that the Brooklyn Nets bottom 10 defense and giving up assists versus the point guard position, 19th. So not really good there. You can see Chris Paul game log. I always like to look at the whole season first. 70% of his games, he's up and over the 7.5 assists here. So he's cashing about 70%. Wish I was cashing about 70%. Last 5, you can see 80%. Last 10, 80%. So he has gone up and over this number a lot. Head-to-head wise, last time they played was almost a year ago, December 16th. Chris Paul had 11 assists when he was playing on the Golden State Warriors versus the Brooklyn Nets. So then I go last 20, cashing 70%. Last 10, cashing 80%. So Chris Paul up and over his assists could be a really good spot here. You can also see insight here. Chris Paul has exceeded his 7.5 assists in 9 of his 11 games, averaging 8.6. You can also look at the potentials. You can see that they're there. 15, 14, 12, 21, 15 minutes are there, averaging. Check Chris Paul out. That's what being vegan will do for you. Chris Paul like 120. I remember when he was at Wake Forest. Still out here getting his 35 minutes in, man. Not fouling, only averaging 1.8 fouls per game. So Chris Paul assists over 7.5 would be the way that I would be if I was looking at a prop. That's the way that I would look in this game. All right, enough of that. Let's jump back into it. See if you guys. I don't think anybody had anything for this one. There we go. I didn't see the number. I was looking for Julian Champagny. 11.5, Merrill says. Where is that available at, Merrill? I don't see that. I was looking. That's exactly what I was looking for, though. That's what my homeboy sent me the other day. He didn't cash. He was at 12.5. Julian Champagny. Champagny is a problem. Let's see. He's coming off the bench now, though, and I don't see him listed. I'm looking for him. No, I ain't tripping. I just see Julius Randle when I type in anything with a JU. So yeah, Julian Champagny has cashed, I think in like 85% of the games he's played so far. Jason says he likes Victor Wembanyama over his 11.5 rebounds. Nets at home off a win, 5-2 to the over. Nets GLB bet says. Okay. Being vegan is the reason, dog. Don't argue with me, man. We ain't here for that. Being vegan changes your whole life, man. He just running up and down the court. So why all the other players is in his draft class not running up and down the court with him, man? Tell me why. Why? I want to know. Mitchell says he's not listed on FanDuel or Hard Rock yet. I don't see him listed on any book, and I'm on OddsJam. So, and Outlier didn't have it either. 1780 Guap, Wemby 4 threes. The sprinkle, his volume for three-point shooting has been up the last few games. Claxton is not a good matchup, and I absolutely agree with this. I didn't even think about that. I gave out Victor over his threes against Philly a couple of days ago. He cleared that number so easily. He cleared it against the Knicks. I mean, he's literally shooting threes like he's Steph. So this is another really good look. Maybe even a little same game parlay with Chris Paul. You could play it safe, or you could play it, you could ladder it. Chris Paul assists and Victor Wembanyama threes. Could absolutely see it. Absolutely see it. Douglas says Chris Paul over 7.5 assists. Wemby 20 points. There's a plus 105. Wemby's reached 20 in 7 of his last. In the last 7, and is averaging 27 versus the Nets. And Merrill says it's on Prize Pick and Dabble. He's on there talking about Julian Champagnie. Next game up, let's go over to one that I am interested in. We got the Rockets at the crib, laying a point against the visiting Minnesota Timberwolves. Man, I really want to get there. I didn't play this game, but I saw what the line opened up as, and I said, man, I might get involved. I really want to take Houston. I really want to take the Timberwolves here. I do want to take the Timberwolves here. It looks like money is coming in on them a little bit. So this line, when I saw it last night, it was only available on Fanatics, and it was a pick. Then it went from a pick to the Timberwolves getting a point and a half. Timberwolves were laying a point and a half. The Rockets were getting a point and a half, and then the line moved. It moved when all the lines came out for all the sports books. It started moving to 1.5, and FanDuel had Timberwolves plus 1.5 last night, and that's the way that I was looking. When I woke up this morning, the 1.5 was gone. It was a solid 1. You still can get a juice 1.5 over on BetMGM, but I kind of like the spot here for the Timberwolves. So let's jump into it. Injury report. We have Timberwolves. I did see that Joe Ingles he's been upgraded. Hopefully he doesn't play. We don't need Joe Ingles in the game. Not if you like the Timberwolves. You want Joe Ingles on the bench where he has been over the last handful of games. Tari Eason got ruled out last night. Dylan Brooks, of course, didn't play. I'm interested to see if they play today. We'll see. Second leg of a back-to-back, of course, for the Rockets. They are cooking with hot grease right now. This team is on fire. You got a Houston team that's first game back home after a 3-game road trip. They won 4 in a row, 5 in a row now after losing against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Cup game. They played a super easy schedule, though. That's one of the reasons why I like the Timberwolves here. Started the road trip in Toronto, got their win, but didn't cover. Then they got Charlotte, smoked them. Then they got New Orleans again. And now they get a really good Minnesota team that's in their first game back home. Typically, you want to fade these teams after these road trips, and I kind of want to fade the Houston Rockets here. The spot sets up well for Minnesota. This is their 3rd straight road game. However, they were already in Texas after knocking off the Mavs on Christmas Day, taking my money in that game. So super short trip for them. They probably got to Houston before the Rockets did. And for the Rockets, like I said, it'll be their first game back home. When I look at the head-to-head matchup between the two, Minnesota have been dominant. They won 8 of the last 10 games, but Houston actually won the only game that was played earlier this season, back on November the 26th. I remember the game very, very vividly. Houston went into Minnesota, beat Minnesota 117-111 in overtime. I would remember having an under ticket in my pocket. I think I had under 220. The game should have went under, but overtime ended up pushing it over. I remember the Houston Rockets getting out to a big lead, Minnesota clawing their way back, all to force overtime and still not win the game. That one, man, that was another tough L that I've taken so far this season. So, you got revenge here for Minnesota. You got NBA Cup. That was an NBA Cup game as well. I think that game was the one that solidified it for the Rockets to end up winning their group. They end up clinching their group with the win against the Timberwolves in Minnesota. So I kind of feel like Minnesota can use the, what they kind of did in Dallas. If you could beat Dallas in Dallas, I feel like you could beat Houston in Houston. And granted, Houston is no pushover. Like I said, they've won 4 straight games. They're actually playing really, really good basketball right now. Offensively, starting to shoot the ball a lot better. But like I said, those last few games, Toronto, Charlotte, New Orleans, this is a different type of defense that the Timberwolves are going to bring. The Timberwolves, you just worry about their offense. You really, really worry about them being able to score the basketball. Even after getting out to that big lead the other day on Christmas Day, they still find a way to almost wet the bed and let Dallas come all the way back with no Luka. So I kind of want to get there with the Timberwolves. I think that they can win the game. Rest advantage, momentum coming in off the Dallas game, first game back home for Houston, revenge spot. Like, it lines up well for a Minnesota spot. Minnesota also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games, including 3 straight, 5 of their last 6. This total is already a little bit too low for me to want to get involved. I already lost on a total between these two teams at 220. This one is 6.5 points lower. I do expect this to be a defensive, grinded out style game, but nothing I want to get involved with as far as the total goes. Think the total's set about right. So those are my thoughts on the game. Like I said, strong lean towards the Timberwolves. The longer the game goes on, especially with the Rockets playing second leg of a back-to-back, should be a better spot for them. I was watching the game last night hoping that, the Pelicans would show a pulse. Pelicans, man, they're bad at basketball. They didn't even show a pulse. So the Houston Rockets didn't even have to play their starters late. So that's what I got for you guys in that game. As far as player props, sneaky one here, and then we'll go through the comments. I was doing some reading about this game last night, in the post game. Not sure if I'm gonna get there. Not sure if I'm gonna get there with this one in this game, or if I'm gonna just wait and try to get there. Try to get there in one of the upcoming games. But I was doing some reading last night, and this is what I found. Julius Randle assists. This comes from a quote from Coach Chris Finch. He wants Julius Randle to be a facilitator. He doesn't want him shooting the ball. Julius Randle talked about this after the Christmas Day game, said that, it's kind of hard when you've been in the system for 5 years and now you're asked to do something differently, but he loves his teammates. He loves his role, wants to continue to be a great facilitator. So, quote from Chris Finch says, he's a facilitator. He's been great at adjusting and being less of a primary scorer, more of a playmaker for us. We need to make sure we keep him at the center of that more, which means that Julius Randle will try to be the facilitator. You can see in his last 3 games, this is under 4.5 assists as well. So his line is 4.5 plus 124, 3.5 super juice. So maybe parlay piece with the 3.5. If you feeling risky or frisky, you could take this 4.5 at plus 124. But you can see he's up and over in all 3 of his last 3 games. If we just go last 5, we look at potential assists. Look at this. The 2 games he missed, 4 potential and 5 and 4 potential. 4 potential assists. Only had finished with 3 and 3. But look at this, 11, 9, and 9. The problem with this is, because I do think that we found something, or at least I think I found something. We'll see what that means for moving forward. But here's the problem. The Rockets are great in limited assists. This is one of the best defensive teams. I think they got the second best defensive rating in the NBA right now, behind only the Oklahoma City Thunder. They give up the second fewest assists. To the point guard position, third fewest assists. So that does not make me feel great, with wanting to take, the assist to go over here for Julius Randle. But this was the player prop that kind of came to my mind based on what I was reading. Also, real quick, getting back to what I was talking about here. Let's see. Getting back to what I was talking about here, just in general, I looked at, and this is so small. I gotta enlarge it. Okay, here we go. So I looked at road favorites, which the Timberwolves were. They're not anymore, but I looked at road favorites on a short line. So 1 possession game, road favorite. You have more rest than your opponent. Your opponent's playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, and you have revenge. And you're a good team, 50% win percentage or better. This ain't ain't a spot where we're trying to back the Charlotte Hornets again. So I did add the opponent, the team has at least a 50% win percentage. And it said that, the straight up record was 81-40, which is about 67%. 67, 53-1 against the number, which is 56%. So these are two strong, not too strong, one strong, super strong trend, in my opinion, that says that the Minnesota Timberwolves have a chance to win this game. This trend hasn't been active too many times this season. But like I said, road favorites in a one possession game, facing an opponent on no rest, when you have rest, with revenge, and you're a good team, just a 50% win percentage or better, are winning most of these spots. So those were my thought processes on this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I kind of want to fade the Rockets. It's hard to fade the Rockets at the crib, but I kind of want to do it. Don't expect a lot of people to agree with me, and that's cool. Let's see. G Hurd says he likes the Rockets here, but maybe first half. Like the Rockets first half. Timberwolves are fake, Brian says. I don't know who the Timberwolves are, really, if I'm being honest. Like, that's the part that scares me a lot, is that I don't know who the Timberwolves are. They took my money on Christmas, but I've also watched them, seen them lose to a Golden State team that's struggling right now. A lot of parity in the NBA. Brian says Rockets first quarter, first half running it back. Yeah, I just think that, like I said, if you like the Rockets, don't let me talk you off. The Rockets have been really good. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Really quickly. Today's Friday, right? Yeah, today's Friday. And then we'll get back to the comments. I want to show you guys one more thing real quick. All right, so let's go MoneyBaller really quickly, and let's look at this game from a MoneyBaller perspective. Timberwolves and Rockets. I expect people to like the Rockets. I think a lot of people don't take into consideration, like the people that like the Pacers yesterday. You got it. Like, if I'm being honest with you guys, one of the things that feels like a lot of the public people do, public plays be winning, but you just take the team that keeps winning. Sometimes you got to look at who they've been playing against. The Rockets have been playing against some cupcakes. The Timberwolves, I don't think, are a cupcake, and that's why I like them in this spot. So this is, just the Rockets' schedule. I just mentioned this, but look, they beat the Pelicans. The Pelicans are terrible. They beat the Hornets. The Hornets are god-awful. Lost to the Wizards again yesterday. They beat the Raptors. Raptors lost by 40 the other day. They beat the Pelicans. Round of applause for them. They lost to OKC. That's the last tough game that they had. The game before that was the Warriors. This was the Cup game. They won that game by 1 point. So yeah, I think, strength of schedule wise, Houston is coming off a really good, the Timberwolves are coming off a really good win. And I get it. Like I said, it's hard to fade the Rockets at the crib. If we go down and look at some of the trends, you can see that the Timberwolves, let's see, what has got the Timberwolves listed? It's got the Timberwolves as favorites here, but this is not accurate. The Rockets are not getting 1.5 anymore. But this has the Rockets as the Timberwolves as favorites. So you can see a lot of green on the screen for both of the teams. Timberwolves, a road dog. You see the 4-0 right here as a road favorite. A road dog, they're 2-0 first half, 1-1 against the spread. 3-0 if they have the rest advantage, first half and full game. And like I said, the Rockets are they're really, really good at the crib, of course. First half, 7-2. I wouldn't even fade them in the first half. I played a full game. See some over-under stuff here as well. Team totals, opponent team totals. You can see that the Timberwolves, as a road dog, their opponent team total in the first half is 2-0 to the under. The Rockets, as a home favorite, their opponents are also 2-0 to the under. So maybe a first half under to stay away from the full game. I could kind of see that. I think it's going to be a little bit like when you've been playing against easy teams, though. It's sometimes it can be difficult to take that first punch sometimes, especially when you're coming off a nice win. And I think that's what we could see here for the Rockets, playing against a lot of easy teams. First game back home since Christmas. I think it's a Timberwolves spot. Sengun over his 9.5 rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo over his 2.5 boards. It's cashing like 80%, Merrill says. Okay. Andrew says, I hate my Wolves right now. Me too. Think they're the right side, though. Merrill says, I know Jabari didn't do anything last night, but his 1.5 threes with Julius Randle guarding him. Gotta be money tonight. So going back to the well, LJ says, Rockets first half at home. I don't like Tari Eason hurt. We need him. I wonder if he's going to play, LJ. I didn't go in and look at it, but I know he was ruled out last night. Do you think he's going to play tonight? I know you got a strong pulse on your Rockets. Mark says I'm going to rerun Houston first quarter. I will look for live betting opportunities for full. Okay. I'm on the Rockets -1. Minnesota accidentally won on Christmas. Nando says. We'll see. He says the toss up. Brooks is out. Brooks was out last night. He has not been ruled out for this game, man. LJ says the under is very profitable in these series. We just saw a little bit of that. First half under seems like it makes a lot of sense. You can get a 213.5 right now. So first half total is first half you can get an under 104.5. Boy, that's not a lot of points at all. Jesus Christ, 104.5. 104.5 for the game, and it looks like that's available everywhere. That's consensus right now. DraftKings got the least amount of juice at -108. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get involved there, but it makes a ton of sense. What up, Free Sauce says he says, what up, bro? Caught it live. He said that was most janky he ever seen with the Kings game. Yeah, the Kings, boy. M says he woke up thinking he won. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox got to stay on his feet. I watched the post-game interview. De'Aaron Fox was it was like a 35-second post-game interview for De'Aaron Fox. He wasn't really trying to answer questions. You could tell he's just getting really, really frustrated with what's going on. But defense, they just can't put it together. Because I said last night, I said Detroit not a good three-point shooting team. So if the Kings were ever going to break out of their three-point slump, it was going to be last night. And they did. They shot the ball really well from the three-point line in the first half. Couldn't make a shot and couldn't get a stop late. They were up by 20, 18, something like that. And you just see Detroit just catch fire from the three-point line. Splash. Malik Beasley everywhere, all over the court. Just 3 after 3. Bottoms. G421 says, yo, what up, Chris? You did Kings first half live yesterday, right? Not live. I played it on the show yesterday. Fremont said that was a Vegas call. I don't think so, bro. I don't think it was a Vegas call. I think the Kings just needed some bonus, especially to play make late, and they didn't have them last night. GW like the Timberwolves. First person I see like the Timberwolves today. 1780 Guaps is leaning towards the Rockets first half. Timberwolves have been sluggish coming out as of late. I can see both teams being a little sluggish coming out late. Rockets off a bunch of wins in a row. Timberwolves probably, could potentially be feeling themselves after beating the Mavs on Christmas Day. It was, Helms. It definitely was. Minnesota cupcakes and ice cream, Charles says. Miranda says, we'll sprinkle a little something on the Minnesota money line. They're heating back up, and I think it's a good spot. Helm says they're a mess. Minnesota money line. People going back and forth as I kind of projected. LJ says Tari Eason is a game time decision. And that's exactly what it is, bro. They can't shoot threes, so you can't lay points with teams who can't shoot. You can't lay points with teams who you can lay points with teams that can't shoot. The Rockets can't shoot. You can lay points with them, but you can't lay points with teams that can't shoot and can't get stops. So we'll see. What up, Jalen? Appreciate you for tapping in. Ant says Douglas says Ant over his 3.5. At his threes at 2.5 right now. Heavily juiced, but a great line for a parlay piece. He's usually always at 3.5. Yeah, unless I take him. And he'll hit 1, even in front of his grandpa. All right, let's keep it moving. Spent a little bit too much time on that game. We got the Grizzlies and the Pelicans up next. Line 9.5. I think it's consensus. Both teams, of course, on the second leg of back-to-back games. Let's get to my notes here. I don't think I wrote down much here. So injury report. Kind of got to wait for both of these teams, of course. I don't think I saw anybody get injured in either one of those games, though. Santi Aldama, he is listed as game time decision. He left yesterday's game early too, I want to say. He left with a left ankle injury, so that could potentially be a little bit less offense out there. Santi Aldama has been cooking this season, averaging 13.7 rebounds and 3 assists. And getting you a steal and a block every other game, averaging half a block as well. Jay Huff was out yesterday. Gigi Jackson, Marcus Smart, Vince Williams. Marcus Smart could potentially come back. I think he was dealing with Wasn't he dealing with an illness? No, he's dealing with a finger injury. So we'll see how that goes. No idea how that goes. On the opposite side, the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram still out. Zion Williamson still out. Jose Alvarado still out. This Pelicans team is god awful, man. I didn't cap the game though because 9.5 is a lot of points to lay on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel. I want to check that real quick. Let's just look at that. So let's look at road favorites. Rest equals 0. And previous game, well, actually, road favorite, rest equals 0. And let's just say you're laying 9 points. Not super profitable, more profitable to the over than anything else. This season, 3-3 straight up, 4-2 straight up, 3-3 against the spread, 4-2 to the over. So the Grizzlies won in this spot. They beat the Wizards in this spot. I remember that because the game before they had the Celtics. We were on them against the Celtics in that spot. So they did win that game against the Wizards on the second leg of a back-to-back. They were laying 10. Over under was set at 236, and it went over the total. The Celtics beat the Nets in this spot. I think they also had lost the game before. Might have been to the Nets. And then went into Brooklyn and won that game 139-114. The Timberwolves lost this spot outright as a 10-point favorite to the Trailblazers. And the Celtics didn't cover against the Hornets by 0.5 point. They were laying 10.5, won the game by 10. So those are the 4 occurrences so far this season. Well, 6 occurrences so far this season. We also got Kings and Raptors. Kings lost outright to the Raptors in this spot on November the 2nd. And the Cavs won and covered against the Wizards 135-116 back on December the 26th. So it's happened 4 times. I don't know what to do with this game, man. Let's see. I know I don't want the Pelicans, though. That's what I do know. Not super profitable going back the last couple years. 14, 17, and 2. Let's look at the Grizzlies real quick. Grizzlies unrested this season, 4-0 straight up, 4-0 against the spread, winning by an average of 17.5 points. Yeah. Well, that tells me I like the Grizzlies. I mean, it's not like you can get a lot of resistance from the Pelicans. Super deep team are the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are 4-0. Only one game on the road. That game was against the Wizards. But they've won by 13, 23, 6, and 28. They beat the Sixers by 6. They were laying 4.5. They were getting 4.5 in that game. I remember that game. I was on the Sixers. I was an idiot. And then what about the Pelicans on the second leg of a back-to-back? Pelicans are 0-7 straight up on the second leg of a back-to-back. 3-4 against the spread, losing by an average of 12 points per game. 4-0 to the over in their last 4 games. The Grizzlies are 3-1 to the over when they're playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. Only under came against the Bucks. Game went under by 9.5 points. And the Pelicans are 4-3 to the over. 4 straight overs. They've given up 128 to the Cavs on the road on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Hawks got 124. Spurs got 121. The Nuggets got 132. That was an overtime game that happened last week. Okay. All right, cool. I don't really have too many strong thoughts in this game. Maybe get in and get out. Let's go real quick. I'll go over to TheMoneyBaller with this one as well. See if we can find something, and then we can get up out of here. I know that we can go to the next game. I know that the Pelicans are really good. No, the Grizzlies are really good. I know that the Grizzlies are really good in the first half. We talked about yesterday. I didn't play it though. So first matchup of the season, I did have this in my notes. Memphis won the only matchup. They were laying 11.5. Ended up winning the game by 11. That game went under the 232. Memphis has won 3 of their last 4 games in the head-to-head matchup. They've covered 3 of the last 4 spreads. They do have a big game against the Oklahoma City Thunder coming up on Sunday. So potential look ahead spot, maybe the Pelicans 1-10 straight up. 4-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. Second leg of a back-to-back. Fourth straight home game for the Pelicans, though. This team is so bad at basketball, man. Was watching the game last night and was thinking, like, I saw a lot of blue. They had the blue seats last night, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder how much these tickets cost to go see the Grizzlies play tomorrow. You can get courtside for like $150. I was like, man, the Pelicans bad at basketball. If you get $150 courtside ticket, they are bad, man. Nobody coming to these games, even with Ja Morant being there. Like, it's crazy. All right, so let's go to MoneyBaller real quick. We got Grizzlies Pelicans. All right, so I mentioned this, but Memphis got OKC up next. You can see that here. The Pelicans are on the road on the 30th, so they got a little bit more rest after this game. They go to LA to play against the Clippers. See that here. All right. These are last 10 games. You can see that the win percentage, the ATS win percentage. The Grizzlies are covering fifth best rate over the last 5 games. The Pelicans 20th in cover rate last 5 games. Pelicans been an over team, 5th under team for the Grizzlies. Offensive rating, Grizzlies top 5. Defensive rating, top 5. Number 1 in pace. Pace for the Pelicans, top 10 as well. Offensive rating, bottom 5. Defensive rating, bottom 5. Boy, I don't know how much more I need to see, honestly. Let's go to some trends. Grizzlies 6-3 overall, first half and full game. Last 10 as a road favorite, 2-1 against the spread. The Pelicans are 1-3 as a home dog in the first half, 1-3 in their last 4 as a home dog as well. I'm sorry, 3-2. I'm sorry, as a home dog because they're at home. My fault. Over under, Pelicans 6-3 to the over. Grizzlies opponents are 7-2 to the under on their team total. This don't have the line out. Okay, that's what it is. So Grizzlies as a favorite between 7.5 and 10. Looks like they're 0-0. Pelicans are, I don't know if this is accurate. Maybe it's not updated, but it says that they're 0-0 as well as a dog. I'm sorry, a dog. My fault. Dog of 7-10. Only covered 2-5-1. So super quick cap. I think I would be looking towards the Pelicans. Towards the Grizzlies in the spot. One more thing I want to look at, just some numbers that I also look at real quick, and then I'll go through a couple comments. I want to see the transition defense. I think it's pretty poor for the Pelicans because I know Memphis is going to want to get out and run, especially on the second leg of a back-to-back. They scored 155 points last night. So looking at New Orleans, I probably should have wrote this down in my notes. Looking at New Orleans, looking at the Grizzlies, they are second in transition frequency, 8th in points scored per 100 possessions last 5 games. The Pelicans are god awful, bottom 3 in transition frequency for their opponent, and 15th in points scored via the transition bucket. So probably Grizzlies early. They also getting a bunch of second chance opportunities. The Pelicans are not a great rebounding team, 27th in opponent offensive rebounding rate. Pelicans also doing a pretty good job on the offensive glass. They're number 8th. That's the only thing the Pelicans have been doing well is offensive rebounding the basketball. Yeah, I think Memphis, I think I'd be laying the points here with Memphis if I had to play the game. Let's see what you guys are thinking about it. And again, that was MoneyBaller for people that are interested. You guys can sign up using code ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's. Get you 50% off whatever tier you select over there as well. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. I feel like I was talking for a while. Zach Edey double, Helm says, plus 150. You can see that. Just talked about how bad of a rebounding team they were. You already know Grizzlies first quarter. Grizzlies team total over first quarter, Brian says. First half, full first half game cash money. Yeah, that Grizzlies first quarter team total. I wrote it down yesterday, didn't play it. I typically like to play it at home, but I do think that they should be able to score. What kind of resistance does the Pelicans even present? Do we have first quarter team totals yet? I know they don't drop early all the time. Let's see. Memphis. Yeah, Memphis is at 30.5 again at plus 102. That's what it was set at last night. Plus 102 on DK right now. Love the plus money on it. Love the plus money on it. Memphis Pelicans team total set at 26.5 in the first quarter. So they're supposed to get smoked early. I like it. Cole says, Chris, keep going, man. We appreciate the info. Appreciate you for tapping in, Cole. Just trying to help, man. Trying to find some winners. Helm says he likes Jalen Wells props in this game. Could not talk you off at all. Parky says Memphis bash spot, both on back-to-backs. Have to take Grizzlies. The only thing is the Pelicans didn't have to travel, but I'm not catching the falling knife with the Pelicans right now, man. Andrew says no. Pelicans, bad. Desmond Bay an assist for Keelan. Shavita, I think is how you pronounce that. Good morning to you. Ja double. Burn says, Chris, like I said yesterday, the Pelicans are so bad, even when it's a good spot for them, that they still don't cover it. And you did call it. You called it. Adama did get hurt. LJ got some trends. He says Memphis 10-3 against the spread in the first quarter on the road. 4-0 against the spread with no rest. I like it. I like it a lot. Sean says he grabbed the minus 9.5. They didn't need to play a lot of minutes yesterday, and the Pelicans just can't cover a spread. I agree, man. I agree. It seems super square, but man, boy, Pelicans not giving you much to resistance, man. Even if you did want to be contrarian and take them here. Let's see real quick. Grizzlies in their road wins 7-0 straight up, 6-1 against the spread, winning by an average of 17.9 points per game. The only game that they didn't cover was the first game of the season on the road against the Jazz. They covered against the Sixers, covered against the Trailblazers, covered against the Bulls, covered against the Celtics, covered against the Wizards, covered against the Hawks. Every win has come by double digits except the one against the Celtics by 6 and the Jazz by 2. So a lot of road wins in here. Let's see. If the Pelicans lose at the crib, they are losing by an average of 10 points per game. So there's some sprinkles of some covers in here. They're 4-6 in their 12 home losses so far this season. The Rockets, they didn't cover. The Nuggets, they did cover. The Knicks, they didn't cover. The Kings, they did cover. The Thunder, they didn't cover. The Raptors, they didn't cover. So let's see these lines real quick. When they've been getting double digits, they've covered. As an 8-point dog or more, they're actually 3-1 against the spread. 3-1 against the spread when they're 8-point dog or more. They covered against the Warriors. They covered against the Nuggets. They covered against the Lakers. Didn't cover against the Knicks. They were getting 8 points in that spot, lost by 11. So as a short home dog, they don't cover. As a big home dog, they have covered a little more. It's still Grizzlies or nothing for me here. I'm not messing around with the Pelicans, man. What up, KC? Good morning to you. Keelan also likes Jalen Wells points. ED double. He says, I'm from Memphis, so take it for what it's worth. Grizzlies first quarter and first half for Sheed. Pelicans team total under for Jose. What is that team total for the Pelicans? Pelicans team total. $113.5. This does seem like a big number for them. 113.5 for the Pelicans. In their home losses, they're averaging 107. In the 3 games that they covered, getting the most points, they had 108 against the Warriors, 129 against the Nuggets. That game went to overtime though, and 99 against the Lakers. This makes sense. I can see a team total under here. 114 is a lot of points in today's NBA. They got to 111 yesterday against the Rockets. 129 against the Nuggets, of course, but with overtime. Knicks 93, Kings 109, Thunder 109, Raptors 93, Warriors 108, Lakers 199, Nets 105. So yeah, they really struggled to get to this number. I like this. I like this a lot. New Orleans team total under 113.5. Shout out to Jose in the chat. Under 113.5. Let's look at the Grizzlies one more time real quick. And their road wins. They're giving up right at 113. 112 to the Hawks, 112 to the Wizards, 121 to the Celtics, 131 to the Bulls. They don't have nearly that much offense. 89 to the Blazers, 107 to the 76ers. They don't have nearly as much offense, though. I like it. This says Memphis scored 155 last night. They might score 160 tonight. Pelicans have major issues. Agree with that. Brian says New Orleans can't get a defensive stop. Memphis, I'll take my chance. Pelicans don't fly. I agree with that. Hornets are the worst team in the NBA. Right now, yeah, they are. They absolutely are. All right, let's see if we can keep it moving. I don't see Edie gonna feast. Helm says I can see Edie having a big game. I'll look into his numbers afterwards. I'm gonna write Edie his name down. Look into a little Edie a little bit later. $150 for floor seats is crazy, LJ. I agree. I was just like watching the game yesterday. I was like, man, let me see how much these tickets cost for tomorrow. I see all these blue seats available. You know, the way that the NBA has the cameras, they try to pan it so, you know, it's not super big and, you know, you can't see a lot of those empty seats. Man, even when you just trying to look at the bottom row and trying to focus on the bench, just like 3 rows up, there's nobody in them seats, man. Ain't nobody coming to see the Pelicans play. Nobody going to see no Pelicans play, man. Helms says coming off scoring 155 points in the regulation. Careful laying points with him today. Yeah, I get it. KC says Memphis first quarter team total and first half team total over. I could get there with that as well. I thought about this though, Helms. I did think about this last night. So if your previous points, because that was an NBA league's high, right? If your previous points are greater than 150, let's just say you're playing unrested. 3-3 straight up, 4-2 against the spread, 4-2 to the over in the next game. That is the spot that the Grizzlies are in. Looks like it happened 3 times last season. The Timberwolves got to 113 against the Pelicans. The Hawks got to 147 after scoring 150 the night before against the Nets. The Pacers got to 131 against the Raptors. So these teams have scored more as well. And the thing I like was just the pace. The Pelicans are playing fast, top 10 in pace. We just saw that last 10 games, the 8th in pace right now. Merrill likes Herb Jones over his 3.5 rebounds. You got to get some shots to miss to get some rebounds, though. We'll see. No center at all. I mean, Misi gonna do his best. He is not a miracle worker at all, KC. Willie Green needs some help, man. Willie Green got a nice little low cut. He always got the sides nice and taped. That's gonna turn great real quick, man. I be thinking that all the time about Willie Green. He probably waiting to get fired, honestly. Let's see. They covered, and this is a blowout. They play defense, or it's gonna be like last night. I don't know, man. It's a lot of points to lay on the second leg of a back-to-back, so I don't think I'm gonna get there today. Burns says he's on the Nuggets today. We're gonna get to that game in a second. What up, Big Smoothie? Says top of the morning, Chris and Cat and chat. Peace and blessings. Right back at you, bro. 1780 Guaps. This should be a blowout by the third quarter. Agree with that. Corey says next game, man. Way too much time on this trash game, and I agree. I just want to find a way to play the Grizzlies. I'm probably gonna play the team total over, honestly. First quarter over 30.5. I think it's probably gonna be the best look. But that New Orleans under 113.5 also kind of speaks to me as well. Let's move over to the next game. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Denver Nuggets. This is a game that I did play. This game opened at a pick, is what I saw open at about 5:30, 6 o'clock yesterday. The line has since moved. What is the updated number? You guys see 2.5 on the screen. I don't think it's gonna move too much in favor of Cleveland, if I'm being honest. Just based on some things I was looking at last night. Yeah, it's still 2.5 right now. 2.5. You can get a +3 right now if you like Denver on Fanatics. Yeah, and the total 236. Looks like it is coming down from 236.5. So I did bet this game. Only official play for me. I am on the Cleveland Cavaliers in this spot. Start with the injury report. Aaron Gordon left the game in Phoenix the other day with right calf soreness. Mike Malone said they were going to try to do everything that they could in order for him to play in the next 24 to 48 hours. The report came out last night that he is not going to play. On the opposite side, Cleveland, I want to say, let me just double check it. Yeah, Cleveland only has Dean Wade listed as game time decision. He's listed as questionable with a knee injury. Dean Wade is, I feel like he always banged up, man. Isaac Okoro is also out for this game. He's missed the last couple. That sprained AC joint. So take that into consideration. So Denver does have revenge in this spot. That was the one thing that held me up just a tad bit. If you guys remember, you watch the show every day. I remember breaking this game down when they played in Cleveland. We were on Cleveland in that game. I think it was -2.5, -3.5, something like that. And I said that it was a lot of good things that I liked for the Cleveland Cavaliers in that matchup. And that's one of the reasons why I played them. Same thing kind of goes in this one. It does scare me a little bit. In that breakdown, I also remember talking about, the home team typically winning and covering the number between these two teams in the head-to-head matchup. So Denver did lose the first one. It was 126 to 114 back on, a couple months ago. Cleveland they were laying 3.5 points in that game. That game went over to 232 total as well. Last 3 meetings this season included have been the home team wins. So Cleveland has not been able to win in Denver. Denver has not been able to win in Cleveland. I think Cleveland kind of bucks the trend here, though. They're playing a lot better basketball. And I know Denver is extremely inconsistent and volatile. You probably want them when nobody else does. You probably want to fade them when everybody else wants to bet on them. But the Cavs, I'm betting on the consistency here. 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. They've won 5 straight, covered three of their last 4. This starts a West Coast road trip for the Cavs, so you probably want to take care of some of these games early. They got games against the Warriors, against the Lakers, and the Dallas Mavericks all coming up on this road trip. Denver's coming off a loss on the Christmas Day game to Phoenix after beating Phoenix the night before, just 2 nights before. Just extremely wildly inconsistent are the Denver Nuggets, and they don't know Aaron Gordon. Before they lost on Christmas Day. Before that, they beat Phoenix in Denver. Before that, they beat the New Orleans Pelicans, barely. And before that, they lost to the Portland Trailblazers. Just extremely inconsistent. First leg of a back-to-back as well for Denver. They got the Detroit Pistons coming into town tomorrow. So, yeah, I like Cleveland in this spot. Just, kind of going through it. You got a major rest advantage, 3 days to 1. Cleveland didn't get a Christmas Day game. Denver is 4-1 straight up, 3-2 against the spread in revenge games this season. So they've done well in these revenge spots. 1-0 straight up and against the spread as a home dog. That game came against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But the Cavs are 7-2 straight up as road favorites so far this season. I think the loss came against the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, they were favorites against Atlanta one of those games and lost both of those games outright to Atlanta. If we look a little bit deeper, and one of the things that I'm kind of betting on here is the Aaron Gordon being off the floor. I'm pretty sure I put this in my notes, but now I don't see it. And I kind of want to, dang it, man. Let's see. Maybe I screenshotted it on my phone last night. Nope, not there. It was just some drastic numbers with Aaron Gordon on and off the floor. Will the Denver Nuggets take this game serious after losing to Phoenix? Probably so. I'm not thinking that they won't. I just don't think that I want to bet on an inconsistent team like the Denver Nuggets. That's what it is for me. And I got a Cleveland Cavalier team that's pretty professional about what it is that they do. I think that they can go in and get the W. Not that it's going to be easy. Looking at some advanced numbers, Cavs best offense in the last 5 games, number 1 in effective field goal percentage. They don't turn the ball over. Top 7 in protecting the basketball. Shooting the 3 really, really well, as they always do. Corner 3 frequency first, 8th in percentage there. Denver is doing a pretty good job of defending that shot zone specifically, but the above the break 3, Denver is really struggling with. Cavs top 5 in both above the break 3 frequency and accuracy last 5 games, shooting it at 41%. Denver is 18th in that shot zone. Also, I think Cleveland should be able to attack the rim and score in the paint if they want to as well. The other thing that really stood out was the mid-range shot. Cleveland don't just shoot threes. They get to the mid-range at times. They're fourth in mid-range accuracy last 5 games. Denver is 24th in opponent accuracy, and number 1 in overall accuracy as well from the mid-range. Shooting 55% from the mid-range are the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's been problematic for Denver as well. They're 22nd in opponent field goal accuracy there. As far as being able to get out and run, I feel like Cleveland should be able to do that as well. They're 3rd in frequency last 5 games. 10th in opponent points scored per 100 possessions. Denver bottom 5 in defending the transition in general. Also just reading through, like, listen, if I find a spot I like, it's gonna be a lot that I like about it. Reading through, like, the body language from Jokic, he's visibly frustrated with his teammates. He talks about it after the game. You can see it on the court as well. Just extreme, wildly inconsistent team at the Denver Nuggets, man. I'm not betting on them to win the game. I did take Denver on the money line last night. I think I got -130 on ESPN Bet. Also available on Bet365. And if you guys have it and you want to tell, I would always recommend taking it on Bet365. I didn't realize Bet365 had the best line, had the same line last night. But if they go about 20, you automatically get a win. So you still can get -140 on ESPN Bet. On FanDuel, got a -142. Caesars got a -140. Bet365 got it at -150 now. Don't like it that much. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. I expect it to be a little controversial on this one. Already saw Burns says he's on the Nuggets. Douglas says, what about sprinkling a little something on the Grizzlies to win all 4 quarters? If they win the 3rd quarter by 30, then they won't need to win the 4th quarter at all, and the starters may be off the floor, Douglas. So that's how I kind of feel about those bets. You can see a team win a quarter by 25, and then they'll lose the next quarter by 3 because they don't care. It's still a 22-point differential. So that's why I don't take those bets. I went back a little too far. Cavs money lines for Helms, so we're on the same side. Christian Braun over his 1.5 assists for Merrill. LJ says the Cavs 5-1 ATS versus the West. Sounds like he likes them. Justin likes the over 236 in his pocket. User says it's hard to play Denver. It's a pass. Cavs money line plus Jokic over 11.5 rebounds at plus 220 for Jalen. 1780 Quab says he likes Mobley in points and rebounds. Going to be a mismatch for Denver, even trying to switch. That's a really good look. They'll probably start Peyton Watson, right? Without Aaron Gordon, in my opinion. So we'll see how that goes. I can see that being a really good look, though. Extremely volatile, Helms. Mark says Cavs money line for him. Love that. Mark been cashing. Stay hot, Mark. I need you to stay hot tonight. No AG. Cavs roll. Denver just another team in the way. They play well at home. I will say that. Like I said, the Denver Nuggets have only been a home dog once this season. And I was on OKC in that game. At the beginning of the season, OKC had already beat them as a dog in the first game. Remember, the first game of the season was OKC in Denver. And OKC was a dog in that game. They won. They went back. I think, who was it that wasn't playing? Jokic or somebody wasn't playing. They look like world beaters. And that's what they do. That's what the Denver Nuggets do. So, it's not the biggest bet ever. But, yeah, I like the Cavs in this spot. I think they can go on the road and get a win in Denver, which is something they haven't done in a while. Mark says they're the best ATS team. There we go. I like it. I like it a lot. Cleveland first half and full game play. Get the money. I think if Denver comes out with anything, Jose, it'll be early in the game. I know that, Denver is one of the worst ATS first half teams. But as a dog, I bet you they come out and they swing in this game. It won't be easy for Cleveland, but I think they got enough big bodies, of course, to slow down Jokic. And, boy, you need a lot to slow down Jokic. Jokic is really good, but you got a lot of big bodies. And I think that if Cleveland can guard the three-point line, which is their one downfall, I always talk about that with Cleveland. They can struggle to guard the three-point line, but if they can guard the three-point line, Denver is not a great three-point shooting team in general. I think they can find some success and be able to win the game. Yeah, my fault. If I said Denver, I'm not on Denver. I'm on Cleveland. Cleveland money line. Jared says pass on this one. Kalani says Cavs gonna be the parlay buster today. I hope you're wrong. Brian says Cavs trifecta. I wouldn't go that far. What up, dropping dimes? KC says she likes Michael Porter Jr. up and over his points plus rebounds. Derek also likes his rebounds and assists. Michael Porter Jr. says he's cleared this line in 6 straight without Aaron Gordon this year. Okay. KC says he can get a double-double here. A lot of people like that. Appreciate you for tapping in, Chad. He says Cavs rolling Denver. I'm glad we're on the same side. Cavs due for some regression. Okay, we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. I said it. I just said it. 3-point line. And they should. If they're trading threes for twos, we should be good here. And that was part of that handicap when these two teams played against each other the first time. That the Cavs can shoot the 3-point shot. Denver, not the greatest 3-point shooting team. I'm not going to put numbers to it because we got a couple more games to get to. But just off the top of my head, and just kind of watching Denver play, they can really struggle with in the 3-point shot. They actually shooting the fewest threes in the NBA the last 5 games. So you just need Cleveland to protect the rim. In Denver not to get hot, because of course, this is all on paper. You still got to go out there and guard the 3-point line, and Denver got to not get hot, and they could potentially get hot. So we'll see how it goes though. But yeah, Cavs the only play that I've played so far this season. Money line for me. Next game up, another game I'm interested in getting there. There's a couple things on my short list today, and the next one is the Mavs. I do like the Mavs in this spot. I think it's a nice little bounce back spot after the Christmas Day game. Injury report, Luka will be out for an extended period of time. We know that. He left the game on crutches the other day, and he's expected to miss a lot of time. I need Lively in, though. I do need Lively in. Lively is listed as questionable in this game due to a left hip contusion. I kind of want Lively in if I want the Dallas Mavericks. But people are already betting, this number's coming down even without Luka, even with Lively being questionable. It's opened at +2.5. It's down to +1.5. I didn't see where the total opened, but I want to say that the totals dropped, and that makes a ton of sense in my opinion as well. Just kind of laying off totals, not playing as many totals, but real quick, I just want to see where this open. Let me see. Yeah, open 229.5, down to 224. So it's still continuing to go under. Excuse me. I know that Kyrie talked about this the other day after the Christmas Day game. He said that the Mavs were 6-2 without Luka this season. He said he'd rather have, he don't care about being 6-2 without Luka. He'd rather have all his soldiers if he's going to war. So I say that to say that, the Mavs can be really, really good without Luka this season. The biggest drop off, of course, is the points per game without Luka. I was looking at this last night on PvP stats without Luka, and I want to share it again real quick. I want to say that the offense gets worse, the defense gets better without Luka on the floor. Let's just look at it real quick. Make sure I'm not tripping, because I didn't screenshot this. I don't think I screenshotted this. All right, yeah. So Luka on the floor, 114 to 110 offensive versus defensive rating. Luka off the floor, I'm sorry, so it goes backwards. Luka off the floor, the offense gets better. 121.66 is their offensive rating in 785 minutes without Luka on the floor. And defensive rating is a 112. So defense stays the same, whether he's on the floor or off the floor, 112. Offense actually gets better. Don't kill the messenger. They are +9.34 in net rating without Luka on the floor. Luka off the floor. I'm sorry. Plus Luka on the floor, they are +9 in net rating. Luka off the floor, they are +2.26. So I read that backwards. I'm sorry. So Luka on the floor, and they score 7 more points per game. Luka off the floor, they score 7 fewer points per game. but they still are plus 2.2 in net rating with Luka off the floor. With Luka on the floor, there's a +9. So that's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry about that if I confused anybody. A couple things I like for Dallas here. So you got double in-season revenge. They were favorites in both games so far this season against the Phoenix Suns. Lost both of them. 114-102 in Phoenix to start the season. 114-113 in Dallas at home as a 2.5-point favorite in that game. You're also coming off a bad Christmas Day loss at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you got all the motivation in the world with double revenge and coming off the Christmas Day game. First leg of a back-to-back, but they got the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow. Pretty sure they're not worried about that game. They just beat Portland by 20. And it's the first road game after 4 straight home games for them. For Phoenix, second straight home game. They are coming off a pretty big win against Denver. They needed that in the bounce back spot after getting smoked 2 days before Christmas against the Denver Nuggets. That was their worst loss of the season. This is also the first leg of a back-to-back, and they got the Golden State Warriors on deck tomorrow. So yeah, I just kind of feel like Dallas is going to get it together here. I know they burned my money the other day trying to, back them against the Timberwolves. But real quick, how many times have the Mavs been road favorites? I've seen the Mavs go into they went into OKC and got a win earlier this season as a dog without Luka. So I want to say, let's see how many times they've been a dog this whole season. The Mavs have been a dog 10 times this season. 6-4 straight up, 7-3 against the spread, 9-1 to the over. 9-1 to the over are the Mavericks. The only game that went under was the Oklahoma City game, and that was the Cup game. Luka was a part of that one. So without Luka, a perfect 9-0 to the over, even though I don't really like this one to go over. I think at 224, though, it could potentially go up and over. I don't want to bet on the Suns to play defense. I'll tell you that. And I'll tell you guys why in just a second. As a road dog, 5-4 straight up, 6-3 to the over. 6-3 against the spread, winning by average of 1 point per game. I think they can go in and beat the Suns. Suns will be, I didn't go over the injury report, but the injury report for the Suns, but I don't think Devin Booker's going to play. He's already been ruled out. He's going to miss his 4th straight game. And I said this the last time that they played. Grayson Allen also still dealing with that concussion. He's already been ruled out. I said this the last time that these two teams play. I feel like Phoenix needs everybody. They can't be missing pieces. And I feel like they exerted a lot of energy in that last game. Not that they won't come out and fight, but I feel like Dallas can win the game. I just need Derek Lively in. I do need Derek Lively in the game. Derek Lively plays, I'll bet the Mavs. I will bet the Mavs. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Let's see. Denver always comes back when down big. Fading them always scares me. When they're down big, fading them always scares me. It's like voodoo. DJ Prop says, NBA season been tough for me. It's been tough for me too, man. He says, I need Jonte Porter back in the league so I can max his points under. Oh, man. All right. I'm trying to be serious here. Mavs should cover. Burn says, I agree. I probably should have put the +2.5 in, but I do want Lively in, man. Real quick on the Lively front. Let's see. I can add Lively to this real quick. So Lively, let's see what the numbers look like with Derek Lively. All right. So Lively on the floor, they are a +12 in net rating. 118 is what they're scoring. 106 is what they're giving up. With him off the floor, +1. 117 is what they're scoring. 116 is what they're giving up. So it's 11-point differential with Derek Lively, specifically on the defensive end. Derek Lively is everything to this team, man. His ability to be able to protect the rim is tremendous. And, going on the road, it's not like it's going to be easy to beat the Suns, but I do think they're the right side. No Derek Lively and no Luka. They're actually getting outscored by 3 points per 100 possessions. Offensive rating of 112, defensive rating of 115. Derek Lively on the floor, Luka off the floor, they're still a +9 in net rating. 117 is what they're scoring, 107 is what they're giving up. So I need Lively in, and this just kind of solidifies it for me. The numbers make a lot of sense. Kyrie points for Jose, could talk you off. LJ says the Suns 8-1 straight up at home versus the West. You just need Suns to win by 1 possession. I'm not putting my money on it. Not tonight, LJ. I'll be on the opposite side if I bet the game. Dallas spot, Mike James says. Dallas disappointed on Christmas. Phoenix bounced back after beating Denver after the loss the other night. Likes Dallas on the money line. Me too. For a lot of the same reasons. Merrill says KD going to have his way tonight. Bradley Beal over his 25.5 points. Tyus Jones, he betting on everybody. He got to play for every player. He likes them all. Merrill says take all of them. Take the whole starting lineup. He got a different prop for each one of them. Jaden Hardy props if available. Fly Kyrie points over. Fly Walker says. KC says I like the over in the game. No Luka, more pace. I would agree. I thought under, but the more I look into the numbers, the more I like over, especially if Derek Lively doesn't play. I just told you guys with him on the floor, it's a plus. They're giving up 11 more points per 100 possessions. Jason says, would you go Mavs team total over? I would be looking at that. So I talked about, I'm kind of all over the place, but if we look at Phoenix defensively, they've really struggled, man. They've really struggled. Outside of that one game that they just played against the Denver Nuggets on Christmas, this is a bottom 5 defensive rated team last 5 games. Phoenix is 27th in points allowed per 100 possessions, giving up 120 points per 100 possessions. 24th in opponent effective field goal percentage, not forcing any turnovers. 23rd there, giving up a ton of offensive rebounds, bottom 10 there. And they're fouling at the 19th highest rate. They're the worst 3-point defense, allowing teams to shoot 43.5%. And we know Dallas loves to spray. They love to spray from the 3-point line. Feels like the offense is a little bit more unpredictable without Luka as well. Dallas is actually shooting the 3 at the 7th best percentage. They're shooting 40% over the last 5 games. I do think Dallas is going to get out and run, like Casey says. 13th in offensive transition frequency, 11th in points scored per 100 possessions in transition. Phoenix bottom 10 in opponent frequency, transition frequency, and points scored per 100 possessions in transition. Yeah, it'd only be Dallas. I agree with the movement coming in. Helm says he like him on the money line. Clay 15 points. Washington 1.5 threes for Guap. PJ Washington rebounds for KC. Derek must have left. He had bought up a really good look with PJ Washington. I'm glad you mentioned this, KC. So let's go real quick. Let's go to I can't believe Derek ain't bring this up. Let's go back to Outlier. Again, if you join late, Outlier 50% promo code in the description of the video. Well, not 50%, 7-day free trial if you guys are interested in checking out Outlier. Use the link in the description. All right, so looking at this for PJ Washington. Excuse me. All right, I think it was rebounds and assists is what he gave out the last time Luka didn't play. Rebounds and assists, or was it points and rebounds? It's 21.5, open 22.5. And I want to see this games without Luka. Here we go. Gets a lot more greener. 7 of his last 10 games, he's actually gone up and over the number. Without Luka, and these 2 games were from last season. So if one of them he hit, one of them he didn't. If we just look at this season, you can see 6 of his 8 games so far, PJ Washington has gone up and over his points plus rebounds without Luka on the floor. You can see here Phoenix giving up the bottom 10 in points allowed. They are 13th in rebounds allowed. To the power forward position, they actually do a really good job. 1st in rebounds, 9th in points allowed. To the center position, they don't do a good job at all, though. Points plus rebounds. This look like Lively, 29 and 22, bottom 10 in both. So maybe Lively, points plus rebounds in this spot, could be a good look. Rebound chances go up, though, a lot. 16.6 is what he's averaging without Luka on the floor. Minutes are there, 35.5, staying out of foul trouble, shooting 48% from the field, shooting 54% from the 3-point line. What's his 3-point prop? without Luka? Okay. So PJ Washington up and over his 1.5 threes. Looks solid. Looks super solid. 5 of the 8 games so far this season, finished on the hook in 2. I just told you guys that this Phoenix Suns defense is the worst 3-point defense in the NBA as of late. Looks like they're ranked 16th over the full season. He's getting them up 5-4, 5-3. And like I said, he's shooting it really well. 54% from the 3-point line. PJ Washington up and over his 1.5 threes. Okay. All right. Appreciate KC for even mentioning this to make me look into it. I can't believe Derek must have left the chat because he always talking about that's his guy, PJ Washington, especially without Luka being there. So we know Luka's not playing tonight. That number I think will probably get bumped up throughout the day. Let's see what else y'all saying about this one. Anything else? Corey says, this is a Mavs spot, Chris. Both teams who lost on Christmas Day will win tonight. Denver and Mavs and Boston roll tonight. Cavs peaked too early. They're not that good. I didn't even talk about that game. The Celtics play. Oh, I skipped that one somehow. Celtics and the Pacers. I didn't even talk about that game. Caps and jaXon does cap player props. VC 3. Absolutely does. You can type in, top 3 rebounding props, top 3, top 1, whatever you want to do. Best props for the day, top unders on the board. Like, yeah, you can just type the prompt in jaXon. It'll spit out some analysis for you. PJ, there it goes. PJ double without Luka, definitely worth a look. There we go. Points versus rebounds is a look. I knew I was probably gonna get there sooner or later. Yeah, we can expect the range usage to be high for sure. Oh man, Lively could be in foul trouble boxing out Nurkic alone. That makes me think PJ rebounds are going to be important for them. I agree with that, Casey. I like the rebounds. What was the playing rebounds for PJ Washington? Rebounds. Just the rebounds by itself, even though I think he will contribute to scoring the basketball. Let's see if I can find it real quick. PJ Washington, 7.5 minus 135 on FanDuel right now. Best number. 8.5 plus 100 on DraftKings as well. So definitely something to take into consideration. Appreciate KC for pointing that out. 7.5. Guap got it as well. Like it. All right. It's one more game, right? Yeah, Warriors and the Clippers. Not a game that I think I'm a bet right now. This line open with the Warriors getting a point, and this, of course, moved since the news came out that Steph Curry is going to be out. It's up to 4.5 now. I actually might be buying back, honestly, on the Warriors in this spot if I was playing this game. Looking at some of the numbers, so Draymond is also listed as questionable in this game. I did some deep diving on this game yesterday. Let me just double check the injury report for the Clippers side of things. All right, so just Trey Mann, I think, is out. Kawhi Leonard, of course, still not yet ready to play basketball. All right, so I put this in my notes yesterday. Like I said, this line opened 217.5 is down to 211.5. I kind of wanted to get there with the under. I felt like the under made the most sense. I didn't think that it would drop. It opened at 217.5. It went down to 214.5 in about 2 hours. And last night I was like, I'll sleep on it, but I'll add that to my short list. I didn't think that it would drop this low though. It's down to 211.5. So even since the show, it's been continuing to drop, and I agree with that movement as well. And a lot of it is just based on Steph Curry not being there. Potentially no Draymond Green as well. I think the offense is really going to struggle for the Warriors, but I don't like the Clippers to score the basketball a lot either. So head-to-head, the Clippers have won 5 straight against the Warriors. They've won 7 of the last 10. Versus the Warriors, they've covered 4 straight spreads against the Warriors, including already twice this season. So you got double revenge here for the Warriors. Both games this season have gone under 221 and 226 totals. Golden State off back-to-back losses to the Lakers and the Pacers. They're losing the last 5 of their last 7 games. They failed to cover 4 of their last 5 spreads. First leg of a back-to-back tomorrow with the Phoenix Suns. Like, the Warriors got a lot of bad things going for them right now. They just can't get right, man. The Clippers, major rest advantage here. 3 days rest. They didn't get a Christmas Day game where the Warriors lost, of course, to the Lakers. First game back home after beating the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis before Christmas. And they played their last 3 games on the road. So the Clippers were in this rare kind of, like, I do think the Clippers win the game. I don't want to get that twisted. I just don't know if it's going to be by 2 possessions. The Clippers are in one of those, like, one of my systems. And shout out to my guy, Ronald. He actually shared this with me a couple of years ago. Well, I don't think he shared it with me. I just kind of picked it up. But they're in one of those rare, like, situations where you have more rest before and after the game as a home favorite. And those teams typically cash at a really high rate. Home favorites with the rest advantage before and after the game, because the Clippers don't play tomorrow, 105-32 straight up. 74.5% of the time do the home team with the rest advantage before and after the game win. 73-64 against the spread, which is about 54% since the 2021 season. Says that they win and cover. The Warriors, what I was looking at with the Warriors with Steph on the floor versus off the floor, it's a humongous difference. 17 points per 100 possessions scored less when Steph Curry's off the floor. They're scoring 103.95 points, so almost 104 points with Steph off the floor per 100 possessions over 649 minutes. With Steph on the floor, 120.69. So 17-point differential, which is why I like the under, but like I said, I didn't bet it. Defensively, they get a lot better without Steph as well, because you got to play defense to stay in the game. With Steph on the floor, giving up 114.7 points per 100 possessions. With Steph Curry off the floor, 107 points per 100 possessions. So if you just do that math and you add, look at Steph off the floor, offensive rating 103, defensive rating 107. That's about 210 points, which is exactly where this line is now, 212.5. Probably, like I said, I probably should have took it last night at 214.5, but I just wrote it down and put it on my short list. Didn't quite get there. We know that the Clippers play slow. The Warriors are playing super slow, which is why, they haven't been getting out running in transition at all. And I do think they're going to struggle to manufacture some offense. So you got Schroeder there. First game for him without Steph Curry in the lineup. We don't know what's going to happen with Draymond Green. But I'm looking at the Warriors offense. KC mentioned this last week. It's just not like Steve Kerr has really tightened up the rotation a lot. And it's not a lot of great offensive players out there. Brzezinski's kind of, going through, I guess we could call a sophomore slump. Wiggins has been wildly inconsistent. I don't know. Kuminga has a good game, then has a really bad game, or a really good stretch in the game, and then a really poor stretch in the game. Trace Jackson Davis not going to give you a lot of offense and a lot more defense as well. So this is a game where, I'll probably stay off because you can get the worst of the number at 4.5. But I do kind of feel like the under was the right side. Probably won't get involved here, though. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. I did forget this game. Clippers 6-3 ATS first quarter at home versus the West. 3-1 against the spread in the first half at home versus division. LJ says, okay. So thinking that the Clippers can they should be able to get the job done early here. This is double revenge here, or maybe you just say that the Clippers own the Warriors this year. That hook will be the absolute killer, Guap. I am not betting on the man, I'd be so upset, especially with this opening at 1. No way I could lay 4.5 with the Clippers here. They are playing better basketball right now. I'm not doing it. KC says she thinks Draymond sits. She is the Golden State whisperer. She loves the Warriors. She says she thinks Draymond sit. He don't be trying to play with, especially without Steph. I agree with that. She says Draymond out of the offense, gonna flow better. High pick and roll type game with Dennis Schroeder. Probably look like a little bit like Brooklyn. I could agree with that. Corey says landed with Boston. Easy. Okay. Zubac, 1 million boards today. I want to pull that up, Casey. I actually want to pull that up. Let's pull that up. Let's pull up Zubac real quick. This one kind of makes some sense to me. So back on Outlier. Not going to keep repeating myself, but if you guys are interested, check out the link in the description. Big Zubac. Visa Zubac. over his rebounds, KC says. I know that the Warriors are not a good rebounding team, specifically against the center position. Zoo is up and over in 3 straight games. Looks like the line is 13.5. The Warriors are the 4th worst rebounding team. You can see that right here. Against the center position, Warriors are bottom 10 in rebounds allowed. Big Zubac. What if he has 3 days of rest or more? Ooh, that's ugly. Maybe you need him not rested. Okay. All right. So this season, Zubac has only hit the over in 33% of his 30 games. So only 10 of the 30 games has he hit the number. But these numbers probably weren't set at 10 and 13.5. 13.5 is a lot of rebounds, and I think this line set this high for a reason. So I agree with KC here. Last 5 games, well, actually head to head, 18 and 17. The 2 games that they played this season, these games are from last season and 2 years ago. This season, 18 and 17 boards. Rebound chances, 23 and 24. Is what KC talking about. Zubac over his rebounds at 13.5. You can't even be scared of the number when you see 18 and 17. Potentially no Draymond, another rebounder out there that's gonna be missing. Looney and Trace Jackson Davis are good rebounders. They just, I don't know, man. That's what they out there to do, is rebound the basketball. I like this look by KC. Like this look a lot. Okay, I wanted to pull that up. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Harden 10 assists, Mr. Nice Guy says. Let's pull up that while we still on underdog, while we still on outlier as well. Harden 10 assists. Woo, 8.5 assists. The number opened at 7.5, went up to 8.5, got bet back down to 7.5, back up to 8.5 about 2 hours ago. So he's only had 9 assists in 1 game of his last 3 of his last 10. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Yeah, he's looked terrible. Harden has last 20 games. He's only up and over 8 of the 20. Head-to-head wise, okay, maybe this is what he liked. 4 of the last 5 games, both games this season, 11 and 16 assists against the Warriors specifically. The potentials have been there. 19, 20, 17, 19. This season, 17 and 19 now. Warriors against the point guard position, as far as assists allowed, 19th overall. Against the point guard, 19th overall. Harden has failed to exceed 7.5 assists in 6 of his last 7 games, only averaging 5.9 assists. Okay, so this is a matchup dependent number, it looks like. Okay, cool. Let's see Harden home games specifically. Home games, 6 of 15. Dang, Harden, that's crazy. He played better on the road. Plays better on the road. Okay, all right, enough of that. KC says Wiggins points, rebounds, and assists. Powell over his points. I know Norman Powell has been going crazy. Let's look at Norman Powell real quick. Norman Powell points, my fault. Sheesh, 22.5 for Norman Powell. Open 22.5, got bet down to 23.5, got bet up to 23.5, back down, back up, back down. So some conflicting movement there. But you can see last 10 games, Norman Powell killing 29, 29, 28, and 29. And I'm pretty sure that correlates with his 3-point prop to go up and over as well. Let's just look at this season. 70% of games Norman Powell has scored. He's only played 23 games. 16 games. He's only played 23. He scored 16 or more in 23 of those games. What about just at home? 77% of games. 10 of his 13 home games, he's actually scored 23 points or more. Norman Powell, flamethrower. This reminds me a little bit of all this green. Remind me of Beasley from last night, Malik Beasley. We talked about him at nauseam. 51% from the 3-point line. So I'm pretty sure that correlates well with his 3-point prop to go over. Yep, a lot of green here, 61%. Home game specifically, 69%. 6, 4, 5, 5, 5. 51%. 8 attempts per game, 4 makes per game. Has exceeded 3.5 threes in 5 of his last 6 games at home, averaging 4.2. KC said it. What non-power play like? Shooting guard, small forward, 16th and 19th are the Golden State Warriors against that shot zone specifically. Against shooting guards, Warriors giving it up, 27th in points allowed to the shooting guard position. Against small forwards, 12th. I think he fits one of those roles. I don't know exactly which one. Do it really matter? Dennis Schroeder over his assists and points and assists. KC says, I could see that. He's going to have a lot of usage today. KC says, we lose to the Clippers because Ty Lue normal game plan is send 2 at Steph all game and let Draymond beat the offense. You can't do that today. Okay. Hard to replace your starting 2 guard, shooting and defending mid-season. That's why Kerr's trying everything. That's true. Chad says, what about the Clippers 1-10 win margin? I think that could be solid. I always forget about this, man. Somebody pointed this out in the chat yesterday. In the Discord yesterday. Somebody pointed this out in the Discord yesterday. With the Oklahoma City Thunder to stay away from the spread. And they did end up winning, but it was a scare for sure. LAC, I do think that they win. 1-10 win margin. I like this, Chad. Like this a lot. Okay. Write that down. To go along with Edie, PJ Washington, Pelicans team total under, Memphis first quarter team total over, all that good stuff. What else y'all seeing in the chat? Wiggins has been consistent, Casey says. Only thing she does disagree with here. Okay. Dennis 25 fly says. Okay. See how that goes. What else? Wiggins and Buddy points, Zubac double, Powell 3. So people like points to be scored in this game for sure. We'll see how that goes. Kid says Warriors without Steph this year 4-1 and 2-1 without Steph and Draymond Green this season. So you think they can get it done, kid? I don't. I disagree with that. Can you look at Russ points, rebounds, and assists, please? Livestock says in that last game. I don't want to go back, Chad. Livestone, but if you get in the Discord, I can send it to you. Let's see. What else y'all saying? Oh, man. See the back and forth going on. Mark says, Chris with a 2-hour show. Appreciate the grind. Yeah. I think the only game that we missed was the Celtics game, right? I think it was the Celtics game. All for me to have one play at that. That's the crazy thing. I got one play so far. I might end up adding a couple, but this was the one that I really liked the most, man. I think the Cavs get the job done today. So getting into, let's go here real quick. Let's just go to the quick recap, and I'll talk about the Celtics game first, because I did handicap the game slightly. The number is moving. It's up to 12.5 now. It was at 11. So if you wanted the Celtics, which I'm not sure why you want to lay points with the Celtics right now, you probably could have got a better number. I think the Pacers can still cover. Celtics will be super motivated coming off back-to-back losses. So this is the first of a back-to-back, is a little back-to-back series. They got the Boston Celtics again in Boston. Both games will be played in Boston. I think that game is on Sunday, I want to say. So Porzingis and Jrue Holiday both listed as questionable. I always think Porzingis listed as questionable is not going to play. I feel like the Celtics know what the mission is. The mission is to win long term. They don't care about short term, in my opinion. So I think that he's going to not play. Maybe Jrue Holiday comes back. Who knows? You got the playoff revenge for the Indiana Pacers. But Indiana already beat Boston. They beat them at home at 6.5-point dogs earlier this season, 135-132 in overtime. Indiana has covered their last 3 games. going back to last year in the playoffs when the two teams have been playing against each other. Boston has won 7 of the last 10, but Indiana's actually covered 7 of the last 10. 5 straight wins for the Pacers before last night, losing to OKC. 4 straight unders before last night. 7-2-1 to the under before last night. And Boston, like I said, first time all season they've lost back-to-back games. I'm interested to see how well they come out in this game. Only 3-7 are the Boston Celtics in their last 10 games against the spread. 7-3 to the under. I talked a lot about, their offense kind of struggling in the month of December. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games as well because they lost to the Bulls as well. We got to remember that. So just some things to kind of take into consideration. I know as far as injury report, what's the kid name with the hair? Obi Toppin left the game yesterday. He rolled his ankle pretty badly. I'm pretty sure he's not going to play. I think Rick Carlisle said last night that he's unlikely to play. I don't think that he's going to play. That's big for them. That's 10.5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists off the bench. They need Obi Toppin. They need everybody, in my opinion. Still no Nesmith. But like I said, Porzingis and Drew Holiday also listed as questionable. So as more injury information comes out throughout the game, I'll probably try to sneak in with a Pacers, depending on what happens with Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. I'll probably still try to sneak in with the Pacers plus the points. Just don't think the Boston's going to blow out the Pacers, even though they are back-to-back losses and lost 3 of their last 4 games. I'm just not laying these super big numbers. I feel like it's a tad bit inflated because the Celtics, because the Pacers had to travel from Indiana to Boston as well. I think 12.5 is still too many points with the Celtics. Those are my quick thoughts on the game. But like I said, I need to see what happens with the injury report. And then that's it as far as that game specifically. Didn't look into any player props specifically on the Boston side. I want to know if Drew Holiday and Porzingis gonna play or not. That impacts a lot. As far as top plays, you guys can see him here. Cleveland, the only thing I bet on the money line, may get there with the 2 top looks outside of the Pacers are the Dallas Mavericks plus the 1.5, need Lively in, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I want the Timberwolves. I really want the Timberwolves today. I know it's hard to fade the Rockets, but I think they're in a really good spot. Timberwolves, the Rockets been playing against a lot of cupcakes. I think the Timberwolves with revenge are the right side. I don't know, man. I might even do a little money line parlay and take the Knicks and the Spurs and put them together because I do think the Spurs win against Brooklyn. Laying 7 is a big number. I think the Knicks also win against the Orlando Magic, but laying 6.5, 7 is also a big number. Maybe just putting those 2 together. You fading the 2 teams on the second leg of a back-to-back. The home dogs. I think both road favorites win those games. Probably can get like a -120. So Knicks and Spurs money line parlay potentially on the list. Let me add that because those are 2 teams that I don't necessarily want to fade. That I think can win the game. New York plus San Antonio money line parlay. I don't do a lot of parlays, but that's something that I would probably put together. The Grizzlies line is coming down to 8.5. I would definitely be looking at the Grizzlies, not looking towards the Pelicans at all. And then that's it. That's it for me. Golden State Clippers total dropped too low, but I do agree with the total coming down. Just not laying points with the Clippers. Not 2 possessions with the Clippers right now. So those would be the top looks. As far as the player props that we talked about, Memphis first quarter. Team total over 30.5. Forgot about that one. Didn't play yesterday. It hit easily. I think they had 40 in the first quarter. Chad mentioned that LAC win margin. 1 to 10 win margin. You can get these on DraftKings, FanDuel. You just need them to win the game and not by 11 plus. So if they win by between 1 and 10, you're good money. I like that a lot if I'm playing that game. And I think we'll leave it there. Want to look into the Zach Edey, like the Pelicans team total under 113.5 as well. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there, man. Long show. Appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. I always break these, go back and break the shows up by chapters so you can see exactly what it is that you want to, the game that you want to hear about. But yeah, that's the show for today. All the resources that you guys saw me use throughout the show are listed here. And there's a link in the description of the video if you're interested in checking out any of these. Save yourself a couple dollars to bring in the new year with some good research tools to make some money in sports betting. And you can use all of these for multiple sports as well. I know I just always talk about NBA, but college basketball, NFL, you name it. A little bit of everything on these resources. So that'll be the show, man. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are playing today. Hope you get some cash. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm out.